Hey guys, this is Tech Wizard and welcome back to a new video. In this video, we're gonna improve our already made command handler. We're gonna make it more advanced, and also we're gonna create an event handler so that our index.js file is more cleaner. And so let's start. So here I am in this file command.js in the handlers folder, which handles our commands. And inside this file, first we're gonna need a new module which is called as table. So we're gonna say const table equals require a table, and you can go ahead and install this from your terminal. So you're gonna say npmi ask table, and I'm just gonna do that. Npmi ask table. Okay, so now it's done. And so now we're gonna define a variable called table, and we'll use this module ask table to create that table so that our commands, when they are logged to the console, it looks more readable. So we're gonna say let table equals to new ASCII, and we're gonna name the table commands, the header. And for the first row we're gonna name it command, and the second row heading would be load status. And now we can go into our function, and you see this pull dot name statements. You can go ahead and comment this both in this and the else statement. And we're gonna say table dot add row. So if everything is done successfully, we're gonna add a row. We're gonna enter the name of the file, and then we're gonna say a tick mark, which would say it is correctly loaded. Next to the tick mark we're gonna say loaded successfully, or a simple loaded, which will let us know that it's successfully done. And in the else part we're gonna say table dot add row, the name of the file, and then we're gonna add a cross, so that should let us know that this file has an error. And we can say this file has an error or something like that. Now the next thing we will do is we're gonna simply log this table to the console. So we're gonna say console.log table, and we're gonna convert that table to string. You have to do this outside that for loop, and you're gonna simply say node dot to start the bot. And we see that we successfully got a table, which is a bit more readable now, and it looks more clean than before. And we see the load status next to their command, next to the command names, which is pretty good. Okay, and now the next thing we'll do is we're gonna go to our index.js, and inside the message event we're gonna add some few lines of code that would reduce. And if I now made an error in the file deliberately, and now it says it has an error because I changed the spelling of module.exports, and if I change it back, it would be normal. And now if I go into in the message event in our main file, go ahead and close this file, and inside our index.js, um, above this line where it says command.run, so before we run the command we're gonna check for few things. So first we're going to define a variable called permission, which will store the required permission for the current command that the author is trying to execute. So we'll say command dot author permission, and you're gonna say if not. So if not the user has that permission, we're gonna return, and we'll say if not message dot author dot has permission, and if the author does not have that required permission, we're gonna return and say you need to have that permission to use this command. So we'll say you need to have then the permission variable to use this command. Next we're gonna check that if the given command is set to owner only, so that only the bot owner may be able to use the command. Actually, let's make it a dev only, so that the bot developers will only be able to use the command and not everyone. So we're gonna say if command dot dev only, then but before that we need to define something in our token.json. In a token.json you have to define a key named dev, and you will have a array as its value, which would store the IDs of your bot developers. So in this case it's just me, so I'm gonna copy my ID and paste it here. If you want to add more IDs, all you have to do is enter a comma and then a string and enter the ID of the next developer, and so on. I'm just gonna delete the duplicate, and you're gonna save this file and you go back to your main file, and we'll import that file. So we're gonna go to the top and we'll also say import owners. Oh wait, it was devs, my bad. So we're gonna say import devs from devs.has. If the devs array does not have the message author ID, so we're gonna know that the author is not a dev for the bot, and he will not be able to use that dev only command. And then we'll say return, or add an exclamation mark at the starting, and then we're gonna say return message dot reply, only the bot owners may use this command. File, save this file and then go into any file which requires some permission. So we're gonna go into nuke.js and I'll show you how both of these fields would work. So this whole statement, if not message dot has the author where we check the permissions for the author, we can get rid of this now, and we're gonna simply define a new property in module.exports, which would be author permission, and we're gonna set the required permission as a string there. And now if I do node dot to start the bot, and we're gonna test the command out in Discord. So everything's done, no command has any errors, and we see that nuke.js successfully loaded. I'm going to Discord. I'm gonna say nuke, then the channel we have to nuke. So first I'll say send some random messages, and then use that command. I'm gonna use nuke episode 19. So it successfully nuked the channel, so we know that our commands are being ran and without any errors. See the deleted channel in the reason property. There's something wrong with our nuke command. Oh no, wait, it's fine. I just had to input the reason and not the channel. Oh, I'm so stupid. And now if I try the same command with my alt account, let me just log in. And here I have my alt account. And if I try to use this command saying nuke test, it's gonna say you need to have this permission to use this command. Let's make the permission more readable. So we're gonna convert this first statement to a literal, and then you're gonna use backslashes to make it look different from the other text. Okay, so now that we have it, we're gonna restart our bot, and we're gonna say the same thing again. And this time we see that administrator is different from the text and it's more readable. And then we're gonna go into new.js, and we see that it works perfectly fine, and we no longer have to use that again and again. And now if I try to use the dev only parameter that we did, so I'm gonna set dev only to true. So if the command is dev only, it would check for this. So now if I go into dev only and node dot, I restart my bot, and if I go into my alt account, I can type nuke test and it would say okay. Oh, okay. It is not devs.has, it should be devs.includes. My bad. So we're gonna say dev.includes, and now we should be good to go. So now if I could restart, everything is fine. And if I now go into my alt and try and use that command, we see that now it says only the bot devs may use this command, and we are successfully tested both the features. And now if I use that command, I would simply be able to use it because I have my id as the bot devs in the bot devs array. And now if I change my id's last number, and if I now try to use that command restarting, and if I go into discord and try that command, it's gonna say only the bot devs may use this command. It said so because my id didn't match with the one provided in the devs array. That's because I changed the last digit from 3 to 2. And that's all for our message event. And now we're gonna create an event handler. So we're gonna go into handlers. Let's do just administrator, and now we're gonna go into handlers and create a new file, which would be event.js, and it's gonna handle our events. So gonna say event.js, and it would be similar to our command.js file. So we can go ahead and copy the top 5 lines of the code. They are completely similar. We're gonna just change the commands to events. Everything is the same, and we're gonna change commands to events, and we're gonna change command to event. And now inside our function, we're gonna say const events equal to reader sync. So we're gonna get all the event files by reading the directory, which is gonna be dot slash events, and then gonna do dot filter. So we'll filter all the files that end with js. So we'll filter all the files that have the extension .js, and that would be our event files. So we're gonna say file dot ends with, it should end with .js. Gonna put this in a string, and now we should be good. And then we're gonna have a for loop which will loop through all the event files to get one at a time. So we're gonna say for let file of events. We're gonna use try and catch blocks, so we're gonna say try and catch, and we're gonna catch error. So we're gonna simply, if there's any error, we're gonna log it to the console. And now let's go to our try block. Say let pull equal to require dot slash events, and then we're gonna get the pull for that particular file. So we're gonna add back codes so that it's a literal. Okay, fine. Now, and then we're gonna say if pull dot name, if pull dot event, oops. So if there's an event property in the file, and the type of that event is not equal to string. I'm gonna do table dot add row file, and then you're gonna say it has been correctly loaded. Sorry, it has an error. So if the file name isn't a string, you'd say property event should be a string. And then we're gonna have an else statement which would log everything. So we're gonna add a continue statement also. And now we're gonna have pull dot event should be equal to pull dot event, or it could be file dot or it could be the file name. So we're gonna replace the .js at the end with nothing so that we can get the actual file name, and we would treat that as the event name. So if I have a message.js file, that would and it would this would convert it to simply message, and whenever client.on message happens, it would execute that event. So we're gonna say client.on. So whenever that event happens, we're gonna say client.on pull.event. We're gonna simply say pull.run.bind. So we're gonna bind the run function to null, and the second parameter would be client. And also we're gonna then say table.add row, the file name, and then we're gonna add a tick mark saying it has been loaded. Also, we can add one empty lines. For that we'll say console.log, and then just the two inverted commas, and then we are fine with the catch event. And then we're gonna say, so if there's any error, we're gonna say table.add row file, and then you're gonna add a cross. So if any file has any error, you're gonna say cross, and this file has an error. And now we are done with our function, so we can just log the table to the console. So we'll say console.log table.toString, and now our event handler should work perfectly fine. It's very similar to the command handler. So now if I try, before that we're gonna define a new we're gonna create a new folder which would be events, and it would store all the events. Inside here we're gonna define the first event, which would be ready.js. And now you have to go also we're gonna create message.js, and now you're gonna have to go to index.js and copy everything inside of the ready event. You can go ahead and delete that client.onReady statement, and you're gonna go into ready, and you're gonna say module.exports, which is very similar to our command, so the command structure. And then you're gonna pass in the client as a parameter, and then you're gonna simply paste everything that we just copied. And now we're gonna go to our message event and do the same. So we're gonna copy everything inside of a message event, and we're gonna paste it in our event message.js in our events. Gonna say module.exports. Oops. So we're gonna pass in the parameter, which is gonna be client, and then we're gonna simply paste this. And now we can go ahead and get rid of this client.on statement that we have. And also we're gonna need to import the prefix and the devs from the command, from the token.json, so that we can actually use them in our message event, as we require both of them. Okay, it was token before, now it's prefix. Okay, fine. And now we're gonna check the path of the token.json, which would be dot slash token.json. And now we're gonna save this, and we're gonna get rid of this message statement. And now our index.js is a whole lot clear than before, and it's more readable with only 10 to 12 lines of code. And we're gonna remove the prefix and the devs from this file, as we only need the token. And now if I start the bot, no dot. Okay, so it's not logging anything to the console. So we know that our command handler is working, but our event handler does not seem to work. Oh, okay, I just remembered. In your index.js, we did this command.forEach. We're gonna handle the command like that, but for an event, we're gonna have to add another event in that array. So it would be command.event.forEach, and for each, and then and now our command handler should work. Okay, so we get two errors. One is okay, so the first one is very easy to fix. We just have to add an async. I'm gonna make this asynchronous. The second error says cannot read property bind of undefined. Okay, cannot read property bind of undefined. If I go into event.js, our event.js file was fine. We just needed to use module.exports.run. We see here we have pull.run, so here pull means module.exports, and we'll need to do module.exports.run for the run function. Okay, and in ready.js we'll also need to do module.exports.run. So we're gonna save this, and in ready.js we'll make it module.exports.run. Okay, so now we should, if we give it a try, and we see that everything of both of our command handlers work perfectly fine. Oops, I can't spell. I cannot definitely spell. Okay, so finally, at last, we have everything working. Good to see all those tick marks. It says tutorial, the client.user.tag, and basically which is the name with the discriminator. It says now it's online, and if I try to use any command, I'll just use the ping one. We see that it's working. Finally, we have an advanced command and an event handler. Okay, now we wanna install an npm package which is called nodemon. So what this package will do is it will automatically restart if we do any changes to file. So we don't have to do this node dot again and again whenever we want to restart our bot. And all you have to do is say npm I nodemon like we installed other packages. You wanna add a dash g to it, hyphen g to it, if you wanna install it globally so that you don't have to do this for every bot that you make. And if you just need it for this bot directory, you can do npm I nodemon. I'll just do dash g because I want it to be downloaded globally. Okay, and now just give it a minute. And now it's installed, and now every time you start your bot, all you have to do is node dot. It will say it is watching all these files, and whenever you do something, so let me just do a slight modification. So if I remove this comment here, collections, and if I save this file, and now if I go into console, it says restarting due to changes, and it automatically restarted the bot directory. And now if I put it back and save it, and now we see that it's automatically restarting, and this is very helpful if you are doing some changes side by side and don't want to do node dot again and again. And yeah, this is cool. And there we have it, an advanced command and event handler. And also you want to go into your token.json and add a mongo key to it. What this will store is this will store your connection MongoDB connection URI, which would be needed in one of my tutorials that I'm going to do very soon. And in that I'm going to show you how to connect to MongoDB. And just leave this key as blank, and you can save the file and now close it. And that was all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and you can always unsubscribe later on. And if you need any help with any of my videos, feel free to join my Discord, and I'll try my best to help you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.